We're going to be here off and on all weekend here at the Bassmaster Classic. We got two of my good friends that I'm going to introduce to you guys in just a second, but tell you a little bit about what we got going on. We're going to give away the Bass Tracker 40th Anniversary Heritage Boat. That's right. We're going to give away a bass boat. You guys come by. If you're in the arena or you're going to be here in the Greenville area over the next couple of days, come by and see us at the Nitro Bass Pro Shops Cabela's booth. I got two good friends of mine, Mr. Matt Reed and Jonathan Van Dam. Now these guys, two tournament pros that have been on the trail for quite some time. We still consider Jonathan a young pup, don't we, man? Yeah, he is. So anyway, man, thank you guys for coming on. We're going to have some questions here in a little bit. We're going to be scrolling live on the Facebook page of Bass Pro Shops. So you guys got some questions for these guys? Send them in, tag us, tell us where you're from. This is a lot of fun. The Bass Pro fishing community is a big community. Fishing, hunting. I know the first time I see Jonathan at Lake Martin this year, we pull up, he says, how was deer season? And you got to talking about deer hunting. But Jonathan, I'm going to start off with you. We had Roland Martin on last series, and he was talking about what a struggle it was for Scott starting out because it was Roland Martin's dad. Obviously, Uncle Kevin out competing today, but you made a name for yourself. Talk about the pros and cons of that with Kevin Van Dam, the king of bass fishing, being your uncle.
Yeah, you know, I obviously one of the pros is I learned a lot from him traveling over the years, and then you know, I fished as a co-angler back when the Elite Series, you know, had the opportunity for people to fish as co-anglers, and traveled to a couple events with them, got to practice with them, and you know, got to fish with you guys, and did that at you know, when I was quite a bit younger, and you know, just being able to get some of that experience before, you know, making the step into you know, fishing as a professional myself, as a boater, and you know, it really helped out a lot. And you know, I don't really know that there's any cons, to be honest with you. I mean, sure, there were maybe some expectations starting out. You know, maybe just myself mentally, you know, seeing what he's done, and he's had a tremendous career, obviously. I mean, it's one of the best
Well,
ever.
you did a pretty good job of knocking those expectations in the head when you won the St. Johns River. How were you when you won that tournament? I mean,
well, it was one of those you know, because obviously he's known as, he's a power fisherman. He fishes fast, does a lot of things, and I, you know, I enjoy doing that stuff too, and obviously he's taught me a lot about that. But you know, over the last few years, I've kind of started to, you know, figure out what I, you know, like to do, what I excel at, and then, you know, kind of making my own pattern, I guess you could say, or you know, my own techniques that I enjoy.
Yeah, I got you. That's pretty cool. Matt, you've been competing on the tournament trail now for 20 plus years, 30 years probably. Go back to the local scene at home. I love those stories at Rayburn when you and Edwin running up north. Now you and Edwin used to be team partners before you both became pro tournament anglers.
Yeah, you know, back in the late 90s, Edwin was actually fishing the tour already, and I called him. My regular team partner couldn't fish a couple of circuits. I said, hey, kid, you want to come to East Texas and fish some team tournaments with me? You know, he learned real quick. One thing about that kid, you show him too much, he'll end up beating your butt with it.
Yeah, that I love, you know, you guys was telling the stories about you guys being on Toledo Bend and running all the way up north. Tell that story real quick. I thought that was hilarious when they was snugged onto the front of the boat up there.
Oh, man, it was one of those times where we were really on them. It wasn't like you were going to go look for them. You were going to go get them. And it was blowing 40 out of the northeast. They turned us loose from Old Frontier Park. We went under the bridge there and got past Patroon. And at that point, from 200 boats, there were 3 of us left running north at that time. And we made it about 10 miles further, and we were the only ones still going. Got up to about 12:15, and yeah, I was driving. And I punched one, broke the pin in the trolling motor. Edwin's up there on the front trying to tie it back down to keep it from just going away.
What's
and
the
a
air
wave
temperature?
goes over our head, and this is in February.
Oh my goodness.
We get there, we got there at 9:30, okay? Opened the rod box, and this was when I was with Brand X. Opened the rod box, all the rivets were out of the lid. This boat was 2 weeks old, and you pick the rod box off, lid in your hand.
Oh my
Got
goodness.
our rods out, 9:30, at 11:15, culled the last 3 something with the 5th 5 something. I started putting poles up. Edwin looks at me. I mean, he was a kid at the time, you know. I was crippled already. And I started putting poles up. He's like, what are you doing? I said, son, we've got 5 over 5. And that was the days when in Toledo, that's all you was going to get. He said, what are you going to do? I said, you see that white cap out there? I'm fixing to get on it and surf all the way home.
I'm going to get on that one wave and ride it 30 miles all the way back
all the way
to
home.
I love the war stories and the camaraderie out there. You know, a lot of people for at home, Jonathan, there's a big mystery of how guys work. Who are the guys out here on tour that you work with and have camaraderie with and maybe meet up? Because I know Matt and I, when Matt fished the Elites, Matt was who I had. We worked on techniques back. We roomed together. Who is that for you out on tour?
Obviously we're all a big family. You know, we see each other basically every week. You know, live together most of the year. But the guys I stay with, Casey Ashley, who's out here today. I'm sure that there's a lot of those fans around here.
Yeah.
You know, Marty Robinson and then Uncle Kevin, the guys that I stay with. I stay with Davey Hyde a little bit too. The last few years. It's hard to think I think this is my 7th year or 8th year on tour already. It's crazy how fast time goes, but we like to share some techniques and just stuff like that, help each other out.
The camaraderie is what's neat to me. And you hear so many guys who are in the NFL or in Major League Baseball and they talk about retiring and that's the tough part for them. It's not what was your batting average that year, or how many touchdowns you scored. It's missing the guys, and that's the cool part about the camaraderie that goes on out here that just makes it so neat. Hey, for you guys joining in, I know we got people just now coming on. We're here live here with the Facebook on the Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, Nitro Boost Stage, a couple of the Nitro pros we've got here. And guys, we've been running Nitros for many years now. Matt, big tutorial real quick. How you like that new dash on that Z21?
Going to be interesting. It looks really clean.
Clean, that's exactly right.
When you're old school and you're used to looking at all the gauges and stuff, you look up there and you go, wow, where is it? But it's all there and it's all linked together and should be a great process.
It is. We've got to where we're putting these big old graphs on our boats and we're not using those gauges behind, really. I mean, let's face it. And now you can take electronics and put it all together. You got everything you need. And keeping those big units in the big waters like where Jonathon lives and where you guide on Rayburn and Falcon, it's important for that stuff to be stationary. And this Nitro Z21 really knocked it out of the park and got that. Hey, guys, we're going to take some questions here. I'm trying to get my page to load here. We're on the Bass Pro Shots page. Any of the production team, if you guys get any questions, y'all let me know. Mine is really, really slow here. But one of the cool things about Facebook Live is getting the feedback and getting the questions for these guys. So if any of you guys have any questions, send those in as well. So we'll take some of those. Give me a prediction, Matt. What do you think is going to transpire? I saw a while ago it looked like 17 pounds we're getting toward the end of the day here. Already there, but what do you think a prediction for the next couple of days?
Well, it's hard to predict bass fishing, but I was on Lake Lanier last week at FLW
Very
Tour.
Similar place.
Very similar fishery. What I hear them talking about here right now, there's some flooded weeds in the back of pockets. There's clay points, rock points, blueback herring. So it's all the same scenarios. We dealt with cold. Those fish backed out. It's warming up. You've got that flooded, dead vegetation in the back of those pockets. Those fish are wanting to spawn. Wouldn't surprise me to see those fish push with that weather that's here this week, and weights are going to be really high compared to when the Classic was here 3 years ago.
I think to me one of our favorite times are when those bass are ready. You've got about a 2-week window when they haven't gone up yet, but they're about to, and that's what's happening. Fishing's phenomenal. Jonathan, your thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely would echo that and agree completely. With the warming trend, I think that a lot of fish are going to start pushing up. It might hurt some of those deep guys by the end of the weekend. It's hard to say, this time of year, obviously, any sort of weather change, and whether it's just a couple degrees in water temperature rising or falling can completely change everything. So, but I definitely think, especially with the trend that we're seeing this weekend, some of those might be some really big bags caught up shallow.
Gotcha. Hey guys, it's just like going to a college football game. You go to an Auburn football game, you can't get a signal. Mine's just spinning here. I know you guys have some great questions for these guys. We're going to try to get it worked on some of that here in just a little bit. Man, tell me a little bit about Texas. I know I'm going to tell you the mecca to me of bass fishing, both from a fishery standpoint, from a conservation standpoint is the state of Texas. And I know with Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shops, we work with a company who lives and breathes that message. And nobody really does it like the state of Texas. What have you seen transpire that, and is that momentum still carrying on within that state?
You know, when I actually was young one time. You know, when I was young, when I started tournament fishing, we kept them all, okay? None of them lived to see another day. Man, now that would be just totally frowned upon. You know, everything that's transpired, you know, the conservation moves with releasing all your fish. Sure, there's a few fish kept, but Texas really pushes, you know, conservation, takes care of the lakes. The limits are made for each fishery to make the population there, make it where it fits the limit. So, you know, Parks and Wildlife stays on top of it. Here lately at Lake Fork. Lake Fork actually, you know, it's the jewel of their eye, so they take care of it really well. You know, it's given up a 15 and a half, 2 or 3 over 13 in the last 10 days. So there's been a series of just monster bass caught in the last week or 10 days. And that's, again, setting up perfect. Those fish are pushing up so that they're available for the window. But, you know, Texas is so diverse. You know, I got at Falcon a bunch. My fish are already in the summer pattern down there. Spawn is over. They've moved out. So, you know, you've got so many different things going on at different times of the year down there.
Yeah.
So, and it, by the way, it's getting the time of year down there I start to smile. They start to group back up and get where I can catch a bunch of them at one time.
Hey, ain't it neat, the diversity of this country? And I think about Lake Falcon, one of my favorite places to go. And Jonathon, where you live up there, it's just a completely different element. Like where I live, people talk about wanting to go to Pickwick to catch trophy smallmouth, and it is. I mean, we're catching 8s right now. It's the one time a year you get to where you catch some of those. But for people that's never experienced Lake St. Clair or Thunder Bay or what the smallmouth fishing is like up there, it's second to none. It's just incredible. And St. Clair was incredible last year.
Yeah, it is. You know, I'm really fortunate to call Michigan home. You know, I absolutely love it up there, and I'm a smallmouth guru. You know, and it doesn't matter. Obviously, growing up chasing them is part of that, but I really do think that, you know, the state of Michigan is the best smallmouth fishing in the world. You know, there's some really good ones. You know, obviously Pickwick. You got St. Lawrence River. You know, Lake Ontario. You know, we've got, you know, a good, basically whole state surrounded by the Great Lakes, you know, so you've got, you know, Lake Michigan and Lake Huron, you know, and they're putting out some really big, really big smallmouth. You know, Lake Erie obviously is very well known for it as well, but Lake St. Clair the last few years, you know, I don't know what it is about that lake, but it has just been flat out showing out big bags of smallmouth, and I don't know why, because it's kind of a strange lake. You know, those fish can literally be on every inch of the lake from one
like
end
Florida.
to the other. Yeah,
it's just a lot of sand. That's the key.
It's flat, and it's got a lot of sand, a lot of bait, you know, so I think that's the big thing. And obviously extremely fertile with you know, the Great Lakes feeding it, water flowing down out of Lake Huron, going into Lake Erie. So, you know, I think that has a lot to do with it, and it's better than it's ever been right now.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because, you know, you hear a lot about, it's confusing, I guess, to people that live down here before you really, social media and everything really exposed how good fishing was at all different kind of places. And you'd be like, how are those Van Dam guys so good? How do they learn to fish? People have no idea that don't go up there how good even the largemouth fishing is. I did one of my shows for Timmy Horton Outdoors at Alpena up there and just caught them flipping mass just like you were at Okeechobee. Just incredible. Really good stuff.
Yeah, that fishing up there is crazy. I mean, you know, I wouldn't want to be up there, but that three and a half warm months of the year.
Yeah.
But us Texas guys love to go up there and catch those brown fish and the green ones. It's amazing how many there are, how many largemouth there are. They just get ignored compared to the smallmouth.
It is. It's absolutely awesome. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up with these two. Thank y'all both for being on here and joining us. Nitro Pro staff, Bass Pro Shops Pro staff. And come back here in just a little while. We're going to have Chris Lane Join us for the next segment. We've had a great host today, great group of guys, host of guys, I guess I should say, here at the Bass Pro Shops Nitro Cabela's booth. Sunday, we're giving away the 40th anniversary Bass Tracker. Going to be just a cool deal. My favorite thing is seeing the expression on someone's face that's going to win that boat. You guys come back and join us at 4 o'clock. See ya.